6 months ago, I obtained my permit to legally own a long barrel firearm in the state of California. I had to go through a background check, I took a written test, and I also took a safety training course to show how I can properly fire this weapon. Proposition 63 goes completely against this, and it chokes gun dealers who want to legally and efficiently sell their weapons. The biggest measures of Prop 63 include having a background check for ammunition, as well as criminalizing gun dealers that do not report missing or stolen product within 72 hours to law enforcement. You should listen to me because I've gone through the process of legally having a permit to obtain a gun, or a long barrel gun in the state of California, and I can help inform you of how to protect yourself and your family. I vote no for Prop 63 because it proves to be ineffective when dealing with criminals and the rate of murder in the state of California. The economic downfalls of actually having this proposition be somewhat effective are way too much that California can have right now, and we could be using these resources to properly inform the public about the responsibility that gun ownership has. So let's talk about how this proposition isn't effective somewhat. Glenn L. Pierce, a professor at the School of Criminology and Criminal Justice, wrote in October of 2015 that guns are associated California is associated with having the oldest recovered guns in crimes than in comparison to other states. This means, well, yes, it's harder for people to obtain newer guns in this state. Older guns are being recovered. This has a significant association between criminals and their need to have a gun in their hands. They're willing to go to older guns and to have theft for older guns to take part in crimes and what they're committing. Another study by Gary Kleck interviewed 3,964 inmates. It showed, through that survey, that he asked each inmate through a survey that how did the criminals obtain their guns, and 0.7% of these people obtained their guns legally with a permit. The majority of it, 39.4%, was through friends and family, 38.2% was through stolen theft and more like gang-related influences, and this is how it's happening. So saying that it's the gun dealer's fault for providing guns legally, that's not the case. Also, with this proposition, it kind of chokes the gun dealers by criminalizing them for not reporting lost or stolen items. This means that if now that ammo is more valuable because it's going to have a background check, that means it's more likely to be stolen somewhat, and then the dealership is going to be in trouble for that. That's a problem, and then it chokes the gun dealership, which is ultimately Proposition 63's plan to eliminate guns entirely from the state of California. So let's talk about the economic downfalls of this plan. It's estimated that it's going to cost $11 million per year for taxpayers to have this proposition to be working effectively. Why would you put your your money that you earned into a system that doesn't even work, that proves ineffective? It is crazy to me that it's going to happen, like this is going to happen. And also a part of this, because Prop 63 wants to choke gun dealers so badly, 1/3 of the cost to pay the $11 million for this is going to be from the gun dealerships. This is how Proposition 63 is killing the gun dealerships who are dealing their guns legally in the state of California, which is not right in my mind, because why should people who are doing what they're doing legally be punished for what they're doing? So let's talk about why this proposition is harmful to society. A lot of us receive our information about guns through media, through news, through video games, through movies, good guy versus bad guy. I wouldn't be surprised if few of us in this room have held or shot a gun themselves, or know what the responsibility is of having a gun and what it takes. Gary Kleck, who was a professor at the Florida State University School of Criminology, wrote in May of 2015 that 39.4% of people receive their guns through friends and family because they didn't properly lock up their weapons. This is a problem that I think people have, is that we see guns associated with crime and we don't see the responsibility that guns actually have. People who are rightful gun owners should have a safe. They should have a code for their, of course a code for their safe, but they should have proper ways of having this. We need to teach people that having proper gun safety is so important and so vital to this country, because when I was in training, I didn't learn how to properly store my gun. And that's something that we need to fund and teach people in the public about what it costs to be a proper and responsible gun owner. So with Prop 63, we talked about how it's ineffective if it's passed, how it's going to cost too much for taxpayers, and why it's pointless and it's harmful to the American public. I hope you listen from me so I can rightfully buy my ammo so I can protect myself, my family, and the citizens around me.